Hi there, I'm Chelsea, Monarch Alley on Instagram, and I'm here to tell you about why these vintage chalkware lamps made me cry like a baby. Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Chelsea, I'm a thrifter, vintage lover, and reseller, so I talk about a little bit of all of those topics and then some. But today I'm talking about why these lamps here made me cry like a baby. So I have a little story time. Grab yourself a little something to drink, maybe a snack. It won't take long. These two lamps were found on a very random trip that felt so meant to be that I can't even explain it. So to start, my family consists of my husband and I and our two boys, ages 6 and 1, and we needed to get out of the house. And so we took a little trip over to Indiana to do a little shopping, but really the plan was not to go thrifting or vintage treasure hunting, as far as they knew, at least. So we're in Indiana, and I do a quick Google search as we're kind of driving around, and I'm not finding any thrift shops, which was basically tragic for me. However, I do a search for antique shops, and this cute little place on the square pops up, and I decide, hey, I'll convince them to go check this place out, see if we find a few little goodies, and move on. Now, I will say, I do not usually shop for reselling at antique shops because usually they know what they're working with, and the prices don't give you a very good return on investment. However, I am searching for my own kind of 50s, 60s, mid-century modern aesthetic. So we show up to the thrift store, or I'm sorry, the antique store that I found, and there's a sign on the door that it's closed. And so that was really disappointing, but lo and behold, right around the corner on the square was another antique shop. So drag the family out of the car, we go over to the antique shop just to see, what they had. We walk in, and I kind of immediately discover that I'm not gonna find anything. I walk in, and it just has a different style. It has more kind of a 20s through 40s early American style, more traditional, not as much of the retro atomic era type items that I was looking for. But instead of letting it get me down, I decide to look around the store. So I'm seeing Victorian era paintings, and I'm seeing really, really old linens. Like, I don't want those. Some really beautiful quilts, nothing that I really need for myself. However, at the back of the store was this creepy picket fence that was a gate that led to an even creepier basement. So naturally, I had to go. It's so funny, like, it wasn't meant to be that we went to this particular shop. It wasn't meant to be, I don't think, that my instinct would be to go down into the creepy basement, but they did have a sign that said, you're welcome to go down there, but there are rough items down there. So I was pretty curious. We get down into the basement and see a lot of very dusty, busted up old furniture. So, for someone that is ready for a pretty big restoration project, it would have been great. However, that's not what I was looking for. Everything in the basement was brown, dusty, you get the idea. It had that kind of musty vintage smell to it. However, something red and bright caught my eye, and it was these two babies. And these are vintage chalkware lamps featuring two dancers with maracas, and that's pretty cool. But what's extra special about them is that these are the exact same style as a lamp that I have that was my grandmother's. So let me show you that, and then you'll kind of get an idea of why these two lamps are so special to me now. As you can see, this lamp that was my grandmother's that she picked up on her high school senior year field trip to Chicago in 1952. This lamp I have had for ages and ages. I've actually had it since she passed away when I was in college. And this lamp is very special to me because I can picture exactly where it was in her home. It's exactly her vibe and aesthetic, and it's so special. And what's really wild, okay, you can see that they are definitely of the same vibe, right? Like these things are meant to be together. What's wild about this whole thing happening is that I actually recently was researching this lamp, where it may have come from, how to restore it. You can see on the blue lamp that I have that was my grandmother's that it actually did used to be red, which I believe matches this exact same red of the other lamps. Now in my restoration, I actually do intend to leave this lamp painted in the color scheme that it is because my grandmother painted it, and that is really special to me. But the story actually goes on and gets even weirder after that. So let me tell you more. So as I'm discovering, here, I'm going to set this down, okay, very carefully. As I am discovering these lamps in this basement, there's a tag on them that says 1952. Now what is really wild is that 1952 was the year that my grandmother was a senior in high school. That's the year that she actually would have been on the hunt, picking up this lamp in Chicago, taking it on a 3-hour bus ride back home. And so it's really special to me that these were marked 1952, but what's even more exciting, sorry, my voice elevated because I'm just really into it. What's even more exciting is that these lamps do have a marking on the back that say Chicago. And so I have this kind of chill come over me as I discover these in a basement of a town I wasn't supposed to be in, an antique store I wasn't supposed to be in, that they're from the same city and same year where my grandmother picked up the lamp that is so, so special to me. It gets even weirder after that. So as I get home with these beauties, I snatch them up right away. As I get home with these beauties, I am sending my family messages, you know, saying, hey, grandma's lamp, I found her some extra bandmates, you know, the lamp my grandmother had is playing the tambourine, we've got maracas here, we've got a party going on. And I was talking about how I really felt like my grandmother led me to that antique shop and was kind of there with me as I discovered them. You know, when I discovered them, I just felt her presence. I felt emotional. As I'm expressing this, my aunt says, well, today would have been grandma's birthday. And that, I'm about to cry now. That is when I absolutely lost it. 100% confirmed that my grandma was there with me, and she was probably a little peeved that I didn't immediately remember that it was her birthday. And so she sent me a birthday gift. She sent me on a wild adventure. I found these lamps that are from the same year that she would have been in high school picking up the original lamp, and she was there with me all along. So that is the story of why these lamps made me cry like a baby on June 18th. Happy birthday, Grandma. Thank you for spending your birthday with me and sending me on this wild adventure, and what a special experience. Now let me know if you have had any experiences like this. I don't want to say that people live in the objects, you know, that they had, but I think there's something special about the way we live our lives and the way we decorate our homes and some of the things we have. And I don't know, I think thrifted items tell a story, and these certainly gave me a good one. So let me know if you've had any similar experiences, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe for future content.